Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie and today I am here to talk about my favorite books of 2024. 2024 was a really weird year for me reading wise. I only read 13 books out of 25, which was my reading goal, which is fine. I'm not mad about that at all. Reading is reading in my opinion. However, almost all of them except for 3, actually technically 2, but I'm counting one on this list, were for school. Yeah. 10 out of 13 books that I read in the same year were for school. And out of all of those, the ones I did read for pleasure, I gave either a 5 or a 4. So it's great, but it is, a lot less books reading for pleasure wise than I normally do. So I decided to throw them all onto the list because I didn't really have a bad reading experience with any books for pleasure wise last year. So without me rambling further, let's jump right in and get started with the video. Coming to the books themselves, I did want to say that this isn't going to be in any particular order. The 2 books I'm going to talk about first are the books that I would say are the runners up for the year of favorites wise, and then I will talk about what I'm calling my favorite book of the year at the end. But without me rambling further, let's jump into the books. The first book I want to talk about is the one I would say is the bottom of the 3 ranking wise, and that's gonna be The Selection by Kiera Cass. Book I gave a 4-star rating. I finished it in the end of October, and this is one that really surprised me. I remember hearing about this on BookTube back when I was first starting to watch, but this is before I even joined BookTube. It sounded right up my alley. I love dystopian, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised about how much I really enjoyed this. If you guys aren't familiar with the Selection series, it is a YA dystopian series that follows our main character, America, who basically lives in a society where people are ranked based off of their job opportunities, that kind of thing. And every year when the prince turns 18, they host a bachelor-style competition called The Selection to win the prince's heart and to be the next princess of this land. And it is following America as she is entered into the selection and all the adventures that go along with that. I was, again, very pleasantly surprised by it. I love dystopian. That is my favorite genre. And I do remember hearing about this on BookTube when I first joined back in 2016. And even before I joined BookTube, I remember hearing about this. And I have never watched The Bachelor. I never really had an interest in it. But I heard dystopian and love triangle, which I was interested in back when I, again, first started watching BookTube, and when I first joined, have less thought about reading books with love triangle since then. And I dive in and I lived through this very, very quickly. I was, again, shocked about how much I enjoyed it. To this on audiobook, and I think that was the way to go for me personally. I will put the narrator's name right here on the screen for you guys. And the narration was good. I do wish it was dual narrated, just my personal opinion, with a male and a female voice, but overall I really enjoyed the experience. Again, I flew through this book once I started it. I have moved on to the second book. I enjoyed this book, again, much more. I thought it's not one I would keep on my shelf since I don't have it anymore, but I am going to continue on with the series, and it made it into my favorites of the year list, surprisingly. I have a collection of poetry, and that is Tonto Tonto. This is one I had to read for school, and I read this for my creative writing workshop in poetry, which I took last spring, and I was really excited to venture into poetry. I am not one to read poetry. It is something that I like to an extent, but it's not something I go out of my way to read. So for this to hit the mark and really make it onto my list is really surprising for me. The book talks a lot about being queer and being Hispanic and what that life is like for people in both of those communities, and I really, really enjoyed this. I, again, am not one for poetry, but I feel like there is so much that this collection offers that I think everybody could get something out of it. This is actually a book that my professor recommended. We had to do a book report on 2 different poetry collections throughout the semester. This is one of them that I chose, and I just really enjoyed it. It was a very quick read, and I'm very happy to say it's on my favorites list. The book I want to talk about in today's video is the book I am considering my favorite book of the year, and that is None of This Rocks by Joe Truman. This is a book that I picked up because Joe Truman is the lead guitarist for the band Fall Out Boy, which is one of my favorite bands of all time. I love their music. They've been one of my favorite bands for the past really 10 years, but I've known their music much, much longer than that. And this is a book that is way outside of my wheelhouse. This is a nonfiction book. I don't typically read nonfiction, but after seeing that Joe released it, I was like, I need to pick this up. So I did. This is a book that is an autobiography. It's telling Joe's life story, and it definitely deals with some heavy subject matter. So be sure to check trigger warnings before going into this if you are interested in reading it. It deals with subject matter such as mental health, substance abuse, other things like that. So please be forewarned going into this. But I love it. Like I said, I love Fall Out Boy. This also talks about not only Joe's life, not only dealing with issues such as mental illness and substance abuse, but also the foundations of how Fall Out Boy came to be, which was awesome to hear from another band member's perspective other than Pete Wentz's, who I love as well, considering he is one of my idols. So this was just so good. It's a very quick read. I also recommend listening to this on audiobook. Joe narrates it himself. And again, it's a very quick read. It's not that long at all, and I highly recommend it. It's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not already for future videos just like this. And let me know in the comments down below what are some of your favorite books of 2024, as I would love to know. And as always, all my social media links are linked down below if you guys would like to follow me on any of those. With all being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you guys soon for another video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye!